G'day guys and welcome to Redriven. Now in life, inherently you're going to end up with two groups of friends. Group one are the cool, good looking ones, and sure, they're lovely to look at, but they're generally going to be pretty crap in a crisis and they're never going to help you move house. And group two, look, I'm going to be honest, they're your kind of ugly, not so cool friends. And okay, they're not great to look at, but the thing is they're awesome in a crisis and they're always going to help you move house. Now, how does this relate to the Mazda 3? Well, it's kind of like Mazda took the good looks and coolness of Group 1 and then the reliability and dependability of Group 2 and just squished them together and made this. But how has that squishing survived a few thousand kilometers and a few years? Are these things still any good? Are they reliable? What goes wrong with them? And most importantly, should you buy one? Let's find out. Before we get deep into the Mazda 3, please do us a favor and press that like, subscribe and bell icon buttons. And hey, why not follow us on all of the social media as well? Now in this video, we are going to be focusing on the Australian variants of the Mazda 3. But if you're not from Australia, don't freak out because everything we're going to be going over will most likely relate to Mazda 3s in your local market. This generation 3 was available in 6 different trim levels as either a hatch or sedan with either a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine or a 2.2 litre diesel engine. And look, we're not going to be going through all of the graphic details of each and every variant in this video for obvious reasons, but we have done that and gathered it all in our handy Redriven cheat sheets.
Our cheat sheets are invaluable as they provide a full breakdown of the car's model range, its common problems, what you need to look out for before you hand over your hard-earned cash, how much of that cash you should be handing over, and so much more. Check it out in the link below.
Okay, looks-wise, look, it's not breaking down any major design barriers, but I think it's a really attractive car. All the proportions really work, and overall, yeah, it's bloody attractive. This generation did receive a pretty substantial facelift in 2016, receiving exterior and interior styling changes. Plus, it got some more safety tech that we'll get to later in this video, and the 3 received Mazda's G vectoring system. Here's a quick tip. These things look awesome with a set of aftermarket wheels fitted, but what do you think of the looks? Let us know in the comment section below. Do you find these attractive? As far as actual quality goes, the 2007 to 2015 Mazda 3s actually received a factory recall regarding rust and corrosion due to the paint not being applied correctly in the boot area. So if you are looking at these and it's made after 07 and before 2015, just make sure that that recall has been sorted out. How's the interior? Well, look, first up, this is a lovely place to be. It feels far more expensive in here than what this car actually costs. And I'll tell you what, Mazda could definitely teach a lot of other manufacturers a thing or two about leather, because even though this car is a few years old and has a few thousand Ks on it, the leather's great. It hasn't gone all shiny and harsh like some other manufacturers' leather after this many years. In the back, now look, this is in my driving position. I'm 6'2", and I've still got heaps of room. There's a good amount of foot room here. My head's not too squashed against the roof. And yeah, again, it's wearing really well. This has seen some kids and a bit of wear and tear, but you'd never tell. It feels great. The leather's great. It's super comfy. This is awesome. How's the tech? Okay, bad news first. There's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but we will forgive that because this thing might be a little bit old for that tech. But instead of that level of smartphone connectivity, the Mazda 3 comes with the MZD Connect system, which operates through this 7-inch touchscreen, or you can use this little jog shuttle wheel. I personally love these. So many manufacturers are hell-bent on touchscreens, which when you're driving, I think can get a bit dangerous when you're trying to press the button, but this thing, yeah, it's great. Love it. You can still pair your phone via Bluetooth or USB, and it can actually read out some text, Facebook, and some Twitter notifications. It also has a really good reversing camera, and there was a premium subscription to get SatNav, but these days, let's be honest, it's just going to be easier to use your phone. The 2016 update actually saw some pretty decent upgrades to both the software and hardware for the infotainment system. But I've got some bad news. Well, bad news for some of you. If you're looking at the base spec Model 3 Neo, it missed out on some of this sweet tech. So if you hold those things really important in your life, like phone connectivity and functionality, maybe look at a Max or a Max Sport instead. Also, as far as the tech goes, you've got 2 USB inputs, an SD card input, an auxiliary input, a 12 volt, 120 watt power outlet there, and a CD player. I reckon CDs are gonna make a comeback. That's a whole other argument for another time, but I reckon this is a good thing it's got a CD player. They're coming back. Is it practical? Well, as far as boot space goes, the Mazda 3 is at the pointy end of the field as far as sheer capacity for cars in its class, and I'm pretty comfy back here, so yeah, it's good for practicality. Practicality in the back seat, you've got one little mat pocket here, you've got an armrest with 2 cup holders, the doors have got pockets in them or bins in them. That's about it. Not a whole lot. There's no air vents, there's no USB connectivity, not a whole lot. And storage up front is pretty good as well. You've got storage in here with a little flip out drawer thing. You've got 2 cup holders here, spot for your mobile phone here, a really good sized glove box. These really funky, almost ergonomically designed door bins, which actually hold a large bottle of water, and spot for your sunnies upstairs. Now, I'd love to tell you all the potential mechanical problems that these things have, but I'm not a mechanic, but Jim is.
Mazda 3, what a great little car. If you're test driving one and it feels a bit like a tractor, it's probably because of this. This is an engine mount that often fails in a Mazda 3. It's not going to catastrophically fail and the engine's not going to fall out. It just causes this terrible vibration through the car. Bit like a massage chair. If you like that, that's okay. If you don't like it, it's an easy fix. It's about $300 to sort it out. There is another small problem we see occasionally with the rear brake calipers. It just affects the way the park brake works. It's usually just an adjustment issue, not a huge drama, a couple $100 sorts it out. As always, just try and find one with a good service history that's been loved and cared for.
Is it safe? Yes, especially if it's a post-2016 model or if its optional safety pack boxes were ticked. Standard safety equipment includes dynamic stability control, anti-lock braking and electronic brake force distribution, and Mazda 3s all received a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. Depending on the model or the optional safety pack, the 3 may also be fitted with autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and a whole host of other safety tech that we have listed out in our cheat sheets. So Mazda's marketing tagline here in Australia is Zoom Zoom, and even in this SP25 trim, it's more Zoom Zoom than Zoom Zoom. In all seriousness, these are lovely cars to drive. The whole Mazda 3 range, it's probably my favourite of all of this category of car, you know, Golf, Corolla. It's just, when it comes to driving characteristics, this is probably my fave. Visibility from the front is excellent. It's really easy to judge all the dimensions of the car when you're parking, but there's a bit of a blind spot at the rear 3/4. It's mainly because the rear windows rake up, the design of it rakes up quite a lot, and the C-pillar is quite large. So when you're changing lanes or trying to maneuver into tight spots, yeah, can get in the road a little bit. The steering is fantastic. It feels like a far more expensive car. A lot of the cars in this category, especially at lower speeds, the steering can feel really light and vague, but this is, not only has it got good communication, it just feels lovely to steer. The suspension, spot on. Like, it's firm and controlled and confident, but it doesn't feel overly firm like sports car firm. It soaks up everything really nicely. It sits flat through corners. It's so well sorted. But it's not all positives. There is some excessive road noise going on. Being the SP25, this has the 18-inch rims, and yeah, the road noise gets pretty drony pretty quickly. Actual performance is great too. Like, look, it's not a fast car in terms of performance cars, but I don't know, it's just really satisfying to drive. Even around town, it's just fun to drive. It's almost like the car equivalent of that really fit friend that always wants to go for a jog or take you on a bike ride. Look, this car hasn't exactly had the hardest of lives, but from a driving aspect, it just feels so solid, so tight. It feels like a new car. And again, ignoring the excessive tyre noise, it's such an enjoyable thing to drive. In Australia, base spec say 2013 Neos with heaps of kilometres and a really dodgy history will set you back under $10,000. Probably around about $8,000. At the other end of the spectrum, the top-end SP25 Astinas, packed with options, low Ks and a fantastic service history, they're going to top $30,000. As far as fuel consumption go, Mazda claims 5.7 litres per 100 Ks for the 2-litre version, and this, the 2.5 litre version, a slightly thirstier 6 litres per 100 Ks. But the thing is, on this test, and we have seen freeway driving, around town driving, and I've been a bit enthusiastic with the right foot now and again, we're seeing figures in the mid-9s. Servicing is recommended at every 12 months or 10,000 Ks, whichever one pops up first, and these things have a 5-year warranty on them, so try and find one with a bit of factory support left on it. So should you buy one? Yes, absolutely 100%. If you're looking at small cars like Corollas and Golfs and you don't have a Mazda 3 on your list, definitely put one on your list, because if you can find one of these with a solid service history that's been loved and cared for, you've got a cracking good car. The one to get is the SP25, because now that the used car market has compressed the pricing, it offers by far the best bang for buck. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. And hey, what do you think of the Mazda 3? Would you buy one? Let us know in the comments section below. And remember, press that like, subscribe, and bell icon buttons. And hey, why not go and follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well? See you next time.